Hey everyone, my name is Melissa Strange and welcome to another episode for the Love of Drag. Today we're going to be talking about RuPaul's Drag Race Season 2, episode number 9. Let's get right into this cheer-tastic episode. Also, forgive me for not having the drag-tastic background. I am visiting my parents and I had to shoot in their basement and this is what I could do. So, enjoy. It's a great color though. So right at the start of the episode we find out that the cuckoo is back. The rumors were true, and Cuckoo has entered the building once again from Season 8. Cynthia LaFontaine is joining the Season 9 queens in the battle to be America's Next Drag Superstar, and Cuckoo, because Cuckoo is all we heard her say the entire episode. But that's not different from Season 8. So back in the workroom, of course, the queens are kikiing with each other now that Cynthia's back, and I mean, nobody went home, so it's not like that sad feeling after elimination, and everyone's just kind of chilling and talking about Cynthia and her being back and how she's going to be like a threat to them because she's already played the game and this is round 2. So it's a new day in the workroom, and who walks in the door with a brew? Lisa Kudrow. I'm pretty sure that Lisa Kudrow only made an appearance because she was there at the studio filming one of the What's the Tea podcasts, maybe scheduling why she couldn't be there the next day to be one of the judges, so she just made an appearance in the workroom. It'd be really cool to have actually had her do an entire, episode doing like the judging and all that, but maybe in the future. So RuPaul announces the Maxi Challenge for the week, which is going to be a cheer competition, and I'm ready for it because I watched Bring It On like about 200,000 times when I was a kid, and it's one of my favorite movies. Probably still to this day, just the first one. All the rest suck. Like, it was just about the first one. And I know in the States, cheerleading is huge compared to here in Canada, but it doesn't matter. I'm still super excited about it. So the cheer captains are going to be Nina Bonita Brown and Cynthia LaFontaine, because Nina won and Cynthia came back. So on Team Nina we have Shea Coulee, Alexis Michelle, Aja, Sasha, James, and Charlie. And I'm pretty excited to see what they're going to do. So on Team Cynthia we have Kimora, Eureka, Farrah, Peppermint, Trinity, and Valentina. And Nina's team is representing RuPaul, and they're the Glamazones, of course. And Team Cynthia is representing the B-52 Bombers. So while the queens are preparing to go and learn their choreography and they're learning the lyrics and everything, each queen has to basically step up and be one of the adjectives that they will say. So James really wanted to do floozy, and Alexis wanted to do floozy, and she's like, no, Alexis is like, I should do floozy. James is like, no, I want to do floozy. All the queens on her team are like, girl, can you just do snoozy because you're funny and you can make it funny? And she just was not having it. So Alexis was like, you know what, fine, I'll do snoozy because I'm awesome and I'm an actress and I can do any character. So James is all happy that she gets to do floozy. Then they start rehearsing and James is awful, and I think she's kind of sensing it, and all the queens are like, why are you going to sacrifice the entire team by picking the wrong character to go with for this performance? And so James realizes and actually ends up switching parts with Alexis, and then still kind of messes up after that, but we'll get into more of that later. So these queens are gonna have to learn the stunts, the flips, the tricks, the tomfoolery, the cheers, the everything, and a lot of them are nervous, some of them are good. All I could think was Katya would kill this competition. And honestly, all I could keep thinking was when they were like doing the pyramids, like standing on each other's hands and shoulders, like this will, if it goes wrong, bring an actual entire new meaning to Death Drop, because they would literally plummet to the floor and die, and that's a death drop. And then in the workroom, while they're preparing their cheer costumes, you have little Miss Kimora complaining. Change your name from Kimora to Complaina, because like, oh, I get other people to rhinestone or sew my stuff and I don't like rhinestones and blah blah blah. And it's like, that's like such a huge part of drag, making your clothes. She's bugging me. She's getting under my skin too now. Then came the emotional part of the show where you had Peppermint talking about being beaten up in high school for being gay, but then the entire high school kind of like teamed up and was on her side, or a lot of her friends or a huge group of people showed her the love and support that she needed. And then you also had Cynthia talking about her battle with cancer, and the other girls were talking about some of the people in their lives that had cancer, and it was a very emotional moment, and we're all glad to know that Cynthia's okay again. So let's take it to the main stage with Mama Ru in that green teal. I don't really ever understand those colors. I can never determine the difference between my greens and my blues. They always have mushed up in my mind, but she looks stunning. So she's obviously one of the judges, but on the judges panel this week we have Michelle Visage, we have the B-52s, and also Ross Matthews, but he's hosting, but he will be judging, but he's like the commentator of the event, which obviously is cute and quirky for sure. Right away, the queens jump into this cheer competition, starting off with their roll call, whatever they wanted to call it, and then that was okay. I felt like nobody really stood out just from saying like, I'm Melissa, I'm annoying. Nothing really stood out. It was until they did the first like actual dance moves that my eyes started going like pew 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 pew, but originally they just went towards James, who literally went left when everyone went right, and went right when everyone went left, and it threw off that whole thing right away at the beginning off. I mean, not every queen was like boom, boom, boom. I can't move my arms very far in here. You know, not every queen was perfectly in sync, but they were doing the same moves. So then they were doing all their tricks and their flips and their stunts and their splits and their death drops, or their hopefully not death drops, and their pyramids and their tumbles and all that, and it was awesome. But the 4 queens that caught my eye the most during the actual cheer performance, some good, some bad, would have been Shea Coulee, Trinity Taylor, Valentina, and James Mansfield. So then we take it to the runway, and it is a white party this week. They're serving up white party realness, and I'm ready for all the snow queens to arrive. You had Nino Bonina doing something technically different than what she has done so far during the competition, because every one of her looks, like the first look and the promo shots, the entrance room, and the 2 runway looks, the Gaga and the hometown look from last week, all 4 of those kind of really blocked her face in a great way. She has been doing amazing, but this is the first time where she's actually just kind of got on like a drag beat, not just like this amazing caricature colored masterpiece. It still was great. I'm just saying it's the first time we really like see her face in drag, and it's awesome. Then you had Alexis Michelle, glamorous, no doubt about it. Shea Coulee was serving up some craziness. Can you imagine like picturing that in your mind and then making it happen? Like I really liked. And then Charlie did it. She served up that snow queen realness that right away I was like, who's pulling up the Elsas and the whatevers in the world? One of them was going to have to channel that, and I think Charlie, for her drag and what she does, I was really impressed with the way she looked. Then you had Sasha Velour, not wearing a crown, not wearing bald. She actually had a wig on, so that's awesome, because a lot of people, like fans and stuff, were kind of saying, oh, she's always gonna be bald, like they're gonna start saying like, where's the versatility? Well, she was wearing a wig, and, or I guess more than one. I guess she was wearing one in the challenge, and actually wearing one on the runway, but she looks great. Again, Aja looked awesome. She kind of had like a whole thing. I don't know if the like face thing was necessary. I feel like once it came off, it was like, I think she should have kept it on the whole time. James Mansfield, I was like, it looked like she took like one of those shaggy white bath mats and then like sewed it to here. I recognize the silhouette. I see that silhouette all the time, but I was just like, it's not my favorite. Then Cynthia, she looks like she fell in glue and then rolled around in rhinestones and then came to the competition. If there is a rhinestone shortage in your drag store, you know that Cynthia Lee Fontaine has, you know, made it onto the season of Drag Race, because they will all have been snatched by her. What was up with Pheromone? She was doing another showgirl look like she did the week before. Okay, actually there's a plus and a minus to what I'm about to say. The showgirl thing, the plus is that actually I think you can really see who Farrah is as a drag queen. Like both, like her looks are very consistently her. You could see that and be like, oh, that's like what Farrah would wear. Where at the same time I'm like, girl, what you wore this week was more Las Vegas showgirl than it was in your hometown competition. Like, you should have just worn that. I mean, it just, this week screamed more Vegas than last week did. And last week it was, you know, asked of her to bring Vegas, not this week. This week was asked for her to bring White Party. Either way, she looked great. Then you had Trinity Taylor. She was serving up some intergalactic white realness. It was awesome. Kimura, I'm just bored with her at this point. It was very tacky, like, she's the only one wearing color. If you're getting ready and you see every single one of your fellow competitors only wearing white from head to damn toe, why are you gonna put colors on? It's a white party. You're not supposed to wear colors. So the blue United States bra thing she was wearing was just nonsense. And then she had like all these necklaces and rips. It was just so much to look at and also boring at the same time. Like she came out and I was like, oh, of course that's what you're wearing. Like it wasn't like, wow, like that's awesome. It was more like, wow, that's what? You know, just, I'm bored with her. And then Peppermint, I liked her look, but I also thought it looked a lot like the Gaga Bowie look she did last week, but she said this was a nod to Elvis Presley. But let me do a quick side-by-side of the two photos for you. And as you can see, there's a lot of similarities between the two. And that's all I'm gonna say. Eureka pulling out one of these crazy wigs that she likes to do, and it was awesome. And you had Valentina doing this beautiful, 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 beautiful wedding look. She was like, white party, I'm gonna be the one wearing white at my party called my wedding. So that's my white party. She was stunning, great, awesome. And she did really well overall, in my opinion, this week. I was impressed with her. Some people may or may not have pointed out that I had neglected to include her in last week's episode of my review. I was just not impressed with her. Because there's so many queens, sometimes I don't go into super duper detail in the first few episodes of my reviews. I didn't really clarify that. So I do sometimes leave out people in the first few episodes. It's honestly just to make room for everything because there's so many queens and so much happening. So it was an honest mistake that I didn't mention her. I had intended to mention everyone at least once. And Valentina pulled out a win, and I was definitely in agreement and not surprised at all that she won. She definitely stood out in the cheerleading competition because you wouldn't really necessarily look at her and be like, oh, she's gonna be like a comedy queen. Like, you wouldn't think that, but she was actually pretty funny, and I'm like, whoa, maybe I'm starting to like Valentina a little bit because originally she really wasn't my cup of tea. So I'm excited to see where this goes. She keeps turning it out. Maybe she'll get a new fan out of me. And in the bottom two was absolutely no shocker at all, James Mansfield and Kimura Black. And before the lip sync happened, I wrote down what I thought was gonna happen, okay? And I do this to like kind of predict what I think is gonna happen. And what I thought was that James would turn it out during the lip sync, and that the judges would send Kimura home and tell James to step it up, turn it up, because even during the critique, they were like, girl, like you're in your head, you can't be in your head, and if this is your character, you need to serve it. But the thing I was thinking is also last week, she didn't get the greatest critique. She would have clearly also probably have been in the bottom two of last week's episode had there been a bottom two. And also Kimura probably would have been there too last week, let's be honest. So I wasn't surprised to see the two of them back in the bottom two. So that being said, or not back in the bottom two, but in the bottom two, you get it. You watch the show. So when the lip sync happened and neither of them really killed it, I was like, Ru's gonna send both of them home. Didn't they learn anything from last season with Miss Dax and Layla? Wasn't that who was in that lip sync? Yeah, Dax and Layla. Like, it was just boring. That's it. It was boring. Like, at first there was like, the first maybe 10 seconds, 20 seconds, like it was decent, but then it was like just flatlined. And so I was surprised that Ru didn't send both of them home. Then after watching it, Ru ends up sending home James Mansfield and keeping Kimura. I was like, you know what? On a TV show landscape, it would make more sense to keep Kimura at least for one more episode or something, because she's a bitch, and that'll make better TV. Where James is kind of like James is sweet, and I understand that James is not coming for people, trying to be mean. She's a sweet queen, airheady, sweet, fake, whatever you want to call it. I've spoken and said I don't like her. That has not changed. I still don't like her. But I kind of feel bad for her because, like, yeah, she tried, and I feel like a lot of people are gonna come for her. But like, I'm just happy that she went home, if that makes sense. Like, I'm like, that's awesome that you made it on this show and that people know who you are now, that wouldn't have known who you were, and this is a great opportunity. But like, okay, you made it to episode 2. Now go and do you. Step it up. Maybe you'll do really good between now and All-Stars 3 and make it on All-Stars 3 and change everyone's minds. But I think that 2 episodes of the show with her was enough. We didn't need more. She doesn't need to continue on. I don't think she would have made it farther. Also, I think Kimura should have gone home too. I'm bored of her, so I guess I get to move all of my dislike towards Kimura instead of James now. It's just, like, I was very happy to see James go home, don't get me wrong. Like, I'd rather James go home than Kimura, to be honest, because I don't like her. But I also wanted just both of them to go. It's just, I'm over them. I'm over them both. Thanks for watching this episode, everybody. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite look from the white party runway was from this episode. And let me know who you think is gonna go home next. Let's just make a random prediction. Let's put it out into the universe that Kimura goes home next. Just insert who you think should go home next in the comments, and hit the subscribe button, the like button, and all that jazz. And I will see you in a week from now. Thanks for watching, everyone. Once again, my name is Melissa Strange, and until next time, stay strange.